said so many times, and we've created this pathway to licensure that says the only people who can do this work are those who've been professionalized. So that's part of what stops the chaplain intern, the new recruit, stops them from realizing their own gift and capacity to do this work.
And the truth is, like, lay chaplains are not a substitute for clergy. They bring their own gifts, they bring their own kind of presence, and they configure the ministry differently and in a way that I think is necessary. Chaplaincy has followed revenue streams. So it goes where it's reimbursed. And we have these huge segments within the social service and catchment that have absolutely no concern for spiritual care. They're non-existent in service centers for the unhoused, in any sphere for like the impoverished or under-resourced context. Nobody cares about spiritual care. These are places I feel like lay chaplains could be of service, right?
Yeah.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm David.
This is the work.
This is the work.
I have a lot of hospice experience. However, I think I was just looking for a different kind of structure. I was ready to sort of shake things up and try something new and not just go back to my usual hospice. The organization that I've worked with, I wanted something deeper but also challenging. I was getting too comfortable with the amount of experience I've had. And to be able to look at the people that I'm serving or walking with, that to come back to the work with new eyes and not take anything for granted. And so this seems to fit.
I'm a Buddhist and I live at a Zen center as a resident. And one of the other residents there, who's my Zen teacher, like a mentor to me, is a chaplain. And so I have kind of gotten exposed to chaplaincy through her and learned some things about like nonviolent communication and reflective listening and things like simple tools like that from her that were so impactful for me and so life-changing in the way that I am interacting with people. Mm-hmm. So it just sparked this curiosity for me about like, what is chaplaincy, and is there a way that I can offer a similar kind of caretaking even while I'm doing my regular life, like without dropping everything I'm doing to like change life paths, you know? Yeah. So when I heard about this, I was like, wow, like this sounds like exactly what I've been wanting to explore.
It felt hard this morning. Well, IPR for me was really, really challenging. I had this really overwhelming sense that my whole life had just been blown up by this experience. Like it just came over me like nothing is the same as it was before. Because now I'm like, I guess I'm just more aware of my thinking, and we're talking about transference, so I'm thinking of my history, and I mean that in a good way. Like things have just, I don't know where I'm going, but it feels like something really big is happening inside of me. I have nothing to show, there's nothing sort of external to show for it. It's just all this internal movement, which is exciting and and a little bit scary.
I also was very struck by the IPR and just like the depth to which I felt able to share and reflect, and to which other people shared. Like I crave that, I crave that connection and that vulnerable sharing, and I've really been wanting to find more places in my life to sprout that, So it felt very nourishing for me.
Well, multiple things are happening at the same time. Jessica and I are learning to work together. We're learning to supervise a cohort ourselves. So that learning curve is happening. So it's new in a whole bunch of ways. I think it's a big advantage having two different spiritual backgrounds present. One of the challenges for many people is that they're used to thinking of it in a very specific context, and it's very hard, I think, for them not to compare this to what clergy do and thinking about, what my priest does or what I wish my priest did, and to think of sort of yourself in that place.
To go through all the process from beginning with this level 1 group really is a good reminder for myself what's the essential skills and what's the critical skills for chaplaincy. It's a foundation of self-awareness. It's a foundation of be compassionate, curious of the other's meaning. And also it's the skills of how we can stay here and now. It reminds me that CPE or chaplaincy is a lifelong practice. It's more about humanity. I used to do not trust myself as capable to do the work. English is not my first language. I'm an outsider totally. How I can understand people? But behind of that thinking, the reason was we have been trained to judge ourselves and the others for the whole time. That's why we do not trust ourselves. We want to fix other people because we lose the trust for how to be a human and how to connect to the others. But in our human nature, it's so natural. It's happened for millions of years. CPE training is not only add or give any knowledge or skill to you. It's to help us to ease all the judgment.
That's really good.
Or the embedded thinking or belief. Just back to the beginning. To pick up the muscle to be a human being.
Spiritual care isn't a luxury. It is a vital resource for human flourishing. But robust spiritual care requires resources, human, spiritual, and financial. This is the work. Join us and make a contribution to bring life-giving spiritual care to the unhoused, the incarcerated, and those who've been forgotten. Because we can't do the work without you.